Hi, it's Boy from EVERPRIME. This morning, I was thinking about something that I wanted to share with everybody, particularly if you're over 50. When we get over 50, even if we're not over 50, but just particularly if we're over 50, we think about health and fitness as something that is very good to have. If you ask anybody over 50, would getting fit help you? And they will say, absolutely. Is it important? They'll say, yeah, it's one of the most important things I can do. But think about it. Do we really make it as important as it is really? Well, let's go through some of the reasons why getting fit should be far more important than you might think yourself. I've written down the notes in my notebook here, so I'll be looking down because I don't want to miss anything. I normally talk unscripted, but this is so important, and it hit me this morning when I was doing my workout, what getting fit gives to anybody over 50. There are about 4 different things, and I'll go through them all. The first thing is obviously it's a gift to yourself. In fact, it's the greatest gift you can give to yourself. When you get fit over 50, you are literally not only giving yourself a longer life, all things being equal. Of course, we don't know when anybody's going to pass, but if you give yourself a healthy and fit body, the likelihood is you give yourself a longer lifespan. But put that aside for a second. If you've heard me talk before on this channel, I put value on a long life because that's a prerequisite. But the most important thing is actually health span, how long you stay healthy. Now, a lot of us don't think about this very much. We think about how long we live. But what good is it if you live very long but in a very unhealthy state? If you give yourself a very healthy and fit body, the difference between the length of your life and your health span could be years. It could be sometimes decades. Literally, your health span defines basically the best objective way of measuring that is what we call the metabolic age. Let's say you are 70. If you've done your work very well in terms of health and fitness, even though your actual age could be 70, or what I call the sequential age, your metabolic age, which I sometimes also call biological age, could be 55. It could be 60. So you could give yourself another 10, 15 years. If you've really done a good job, you could be in your 70s, and actually your health span or your biological age could be 45. So you could give yourself anything between 10 to 30 years. What that means is that you got an extra decades during which you are healthy, and you can do things equal to those people with a sequential age that's equal to your metabolic age. By that I mean, if you are 70 and your metabolic age is 40, you are literally a 40-year-old in the real world. Just think about that. What that does, it gives you a lot of runway to do a lot of other things for yourself that you will not otherwise be able to do. For example, if you wanted to continue your profession, you could practice longer your profession. I'm not suggesting that you do that. You could even change career and do something different. Or you could choose not to work at all. You could enjoy your life by doing a lot of activities. A lot of our joy comes from being active, from doing things, from movement. You could go mountaineering, you could go skiing, you could at a very late age if you've really done a good job keeping yourself healthy. Just imagine if you're at 70 or 80 and you can go on a ski trip, you can go on a mountaineering trip, you can go cycling, you can go sailing. Nothing beats it. So the first thing is that you give yourself, when you get healthy, over 50, if you give yourself that runway, the difference between your actual age and your metabolic age, which then allows you to do a lot more. If you retire, or if you are 40 and 50, and you give yourself a lot of health span, you give yourself that runway, you could be adding another 30, 40 years of activity into your life. So that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. It's much better than a pension pot, because you can earn that money with your health. It's much better than definitely any other material possession you have. Now, that in itself is absolutely sufficient for you to take your health seriously. The second thing is your partner. The likelihood is when you're 50, 60, for most people anyway, they do have a partner, and potentially, most likely their children have moved out and maybe have their own homes and maybe have their own children. But we can come to them in a bit. Let's talk about between you and your partner, your wife, or your husband, but let's assume here it's your wife. Imagine if you got a very good health condition at the age of 50, 60, and let's hope that your partner as well has got that, because the likelihood is if you've got a very healthy lifestyle, your partner will adopt the same. So imagine if both of you are healthy, and you, the man in particular, you're not a burden to your partner. You will have not only given yourself the health benefits I talked about earlier, but also you've made yourself really attractive to your partner, because nobody, let's face it, nobody wants to be a burden. Nobody wants to carry a burden, even if they love the partner. So it's quite important to think about the implications of also letting yourself go too early, the implications to your partner, the people you love. And in this case, we're talking about your wife or your partner. So just getting healthy and fit not only means you give yourself a lot, but also you stop becoming a burden to your partner, to your life partner. But more than that, I can tell you now, the activities you'll be doing, all the fun things you'll be doing, will bring you and your partner closer together. Otherwise, the whole thing will become not only a burden, it will become really very stale at a very old age. And I can tell you now, women, females, at any particular age, they do love fun. So if you cannot go out and do activities, if you become unwell, no matter how much nice you are, no matter how much she loves you, you are going to make that relationship a very difficult one in your latter years. Particularly if you compare that to when you can take her out, you can go to holidays, you can go to mountaineering, you can do activities. Women just love to have fun. So that's the other reason why it's so important. It's a gift not only to you, but it's also a gift to your partner, by not becoming a burden, by also providing the activities that keep the whole relationship really stimulated during your later years. There's something else. I mentioned that your children may have left home, but of course they're still your children, they're still members of your family. If you are unwell, the likelihood is you'll be homebound. And of course your children will hopefully be coming to see you, or you'll be visited once in a while during family holidays, during Christmas. But I can tell you now, it will not be as often that you'll be able to see them compared to if you are really fit and healthy. Because then you might have more time now, more resources. You might be able to actually go and visit them more often. Plus, if they've got children, there's nothing more joyous than playing with one's grandchildren. If you are fit and healthy, not only that, you'll be, in their minds, you'll be helping them with their grandchildren, but actually, you'll be getting joy from it. You'll be spending a lot of time with your grandchildren, and you become a very cool granddad. Now, just think about that. That's a gift to your children and your grandchildren. As if that wasn't enough, let's think about the wider society. If you're fit and healthy, and not a burden to society, wherein you're in a wheelchair, or maybe you are being picked up by ambulances and being taken to hospital very often, which quite frankly, I know it's unfortunate, but you become a burden to society. If you are fit and healthy, you'll be, if you like, you'll be volunteering. You'll be doing things, providing things in your local area, or even internationally, depending on your knowledge and expertise. Or, quite frankly, you may launch in a new career altogether and still has contribution to society. And that not only brings you activity, brings you new colleagues, because you will have chosen this career, but also you will find yourself stimulated throughout your latter years. So, in summary, by just getting fit and healthy, which, by the way, if you work with us at EVERPRIME, for a very small commitment your side, we can change your trajectory and give you back that health span after just committing for a period of anything between 3 to 6 months. I know it sounds unbelievable, but I am 63. If you had my videos before, in fact, I'm 64 now as I'm talking here. I'm 64. And I have spent just about maybe 12 months to turn my health scenario from where it was several years back. When I was 40, 50, I had an incredible challenge with my health situation. I became older, not only age-wise, but also metabolically. I became very weak. Cognitively, I became very dull. And it took me almost 6 to 9 months to turn around my situation. But I've done that. I did it once, and I perfected the system. I've also helped many others to do it. If what I've just explained here is of interest to you, go down this video. There's a link there. Apply. And I guarantee you, you'll get the benefit. The benefit, of course, will be commensurate to your own commitment. But our systems really encourage the commitment. You find it really frictionless for you to get yourself back into a healthy situation. Do not let this pass you, because what this means is not only an optional thing that you just say nice to have, but this is almost imperative. If not for you, which actually you should think about yourself, you should put your oxygen mask first, as they say in the airlines, but also for your partner, and for your children and grandchildren, and for wider society. This is so important. It's probably the most important thing you can do. Go down the link in the description, check it out, and reach out. We'll get back to you, and I can guarantee you, you will gain the benefit I'm describing. Let's go.